What you're about to see is a clip from one of my online streams. This time, I'm going over my rainbow papers, which is what I consider my platform. Each of the colors of the rainbow stand for a word which I have laid out the things on the table this year with this election. It goes, red is risks, orange is opportunities, yellow is your part, green is growth, blue is beliefs, indigo is ideas, and V for violet is vision. We have written these out, and this is us sharing it with an online audience, and we hope you enjoy this clip. Stick around to the end for different ways to see what we're up to and how the teams and alliances we're making in getting out the vote this year can have a positive impact. Thanks again for watching, and check this out. How does these beliefs manifest as ideas, the indigo of the rainbow? I have many bills and ideas. These are just some of the ones I have right at the get-go, would be a focus for the first year or two, and then transition into more. Of course, I can work on all types of policies and help co-sponsor, but these are some of the ones that I am uniquely sharing, bringing to the table, would fight for, and I think a reason to send me over my opponent. So, water rights. Negotiate and reshape water rights away from use or lose. So one of the reasons we're in a water crisis is that we have used aquifers to cover for old water laws with no longer aligning incentives. We didn't really have great calculations of our water reserves and based it on old climate models, where we're getting to this point and have been compensating with pulling water from aquifers, where this is more in our face and relevant than ever. We're seeing this relevant across the world, but it's relevant for us in Colorado. And if we're going to be a leader, we need to be able to solve this. And doing that means innovating and thinking ahead with the technology we have now, rather than accepting a multiple decade old water policy. We have to face large agriculture and meat industry and food lobbies, attack ads that are going to come after us. But these areas and these extractive industries use up 60% of our water. So we can renegotiate with these groups and renegotiate so that we use that to refill our reserves, and so farmers and water owners can get value out of other crops and uses that are less intensive, and rewarded for helping us have water for people, recreation, and less intensive crops and industries. So showing that the vision there of what things could look like, and sure, this would impact the restaurant and meat industry and whatnot, and not saying that we avoid those impacts and how that can show up in food costs and certain parts of our economy. But we need to be able to put all these different aspects on the table, and have like a solid 5-year plan where we're not shaking things up immediately, but we're actually able to be ready for droughts and other issues if they come up, and continue to be an issue if we don't solve it. Inflation Reduction Act funds an effective and structural way. Our state legislature will play a big role in how the Inflation Reduction Act comes to manifest in our state, similarly to how they applied infrastructure funds in the hundreds of millions. That will be around $73 million of the climate and energy funds and an amount of the $4 billion Western Drought Resiliency Funds. I can bring a scientific, up-to-date, and structural design voice to that conversation. We saw this with the infrastructure bill, is how these funds manifest and show up. My camera's shaking. Can't tell too much. It's on state legislatures to optimize and put that money to work. And so I believe with my background would be great voice to have at that table. More ideas. Nurse and mental health professional degree price cap. Cap the degree cost of essential roles starting with nurse and mental health professional degrees so we can have adequate caretakers and professionals to support the well-being of youth and adults alike. Work with schools to fill in and support professor and classroom needs so that we can rise to the occasion of our mental health needs. We need more professionals in those fields. And then create public banking task force. A solution to local and long-term projects is public financing, where CEOs don't get astronomical pay and the stakeholders are the people. Those in banking careers could transition to help build more fulfilling and stabilizing positive impact investments. So there are a number of papers coming out on this, as well as examples, and will be an area of continued focus because I just find it a fascinating concept where we have banks here in Colorado who are making somewhere between 200 million to 800 million sometimes a year in profits. CEO pays, probably with benefits and whatnot, is in the millions. And the bank workers themselves probably making good money in the 100,000 range. Now those jobs, I think we can transition to government jobs that come with like healthcare benefits and whatnot. And so continue to do that work for the public good and using that 200 to 800 million and the million profits of the executive class of those companies make into public projects and stability and resilience, I think is the transition we kind of need to make, because the amount of people who are getting away with that 200 to 800 million and whatnot is such a small number, and it even I think is counterproductive to their future and their kids' future to not put that into public investment in infrastructure and resiliency and stability. So having a force to look at that, I think would be the first kind of step, the first year, and then in the second year, having more of a discussion and bill around this. And so those are just some of the ideas that we hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch more clips like it, we have plenty more on our YouTube channel where we have all our clips listed out with good, helpful titles. We want to showcase what we're about and the ideas we have, and it's through that and reaching enough people that we believe this election and these changes can still be reached. My name's Brady Miguel. Thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic week.